for the jury?
We are, Your Honor.
Very good. Let's bring them in.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me know when you want these stipulations read, okay? I would assume the one about...
Will be after this, the one about the firearm, weapon.
Okay. Good morning. How was everyone this morning? Good? State, please call your next witness.
The state would call Mr. Jody Satullo.
Sir, right this way. You're going to stand right here, raise your right hand, face the clerk. Take the oath, answer out loud, please.
Do you swear affirm the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Sir, right this way. Go ahead and have a seat. Speak in a loud, clear voice and report, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Shot, you may fire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Satullo, will you please state your full name?
Joseph Satulya, last name spelled Soutullo.
And how are you employed?
I'm a media forensic specialist for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
And talk a little bit about your educational background.
I have a bachelor's degree from the Florida State University College of Motion Pictures, and I have 120 hours of training required to receive a certification as a certified forensic video technician from the Law Enforcement and Emergency Services Video Association.
And what do you do specifically during your workday as a forensic specialist?
At the Sheriff's Office, our job responsibilities are to analyze, examine, and collect digital multimedia evidence. And digital multimedia evidence refers to digital video, digital audio, and digital still images.
And how long have you worked for the Sheriff's Office?
Since 1994.
Did you go to work there after graduating from college?
Yes.
All right. And you've worked there since 1994 in the same capacity?
Yes.
All right. Did there come a time in this case where you were called out to the Circle A convenience store?
Yes, I was.
And what was the purpose of your going to the Circle A convenience store?
To collect video evidence related to an investigation.
All right. And did you, in fact, go into the store?
Yes.
And did you, in fact, collect evidence within that store?
Yes, I did.
All right. Yesterday we saw photographs of inside the store, the cameras inside the store, and I believe we also observed a photograph of what appeared to be a recording machine. You're looking at photograph B. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
All right. And what type of machine is that?
That's a digital video recorder.
All right. Did you obtain from inside that machine a recording?
Yes, I did.
And how is that? Is it a disc? What is it you take out of that machine?
On those machines, there are USB ports, which is an input-output port for computers and digital devices. So I connected a USB storage device, some people refer to them as flash drives or thumb drives, and then copied a portion of video from the digital video recorder onto that flash drive.
retrieving that flash drive, what did you then do with it?
I copied the video to my workstation and examined it back at my office.
All right. And did you, in examining it, were you able to determine its quality?
Yes.
And what was the quality of the video?
It was typical of video surveillance system, security systems,
All right.
and it was recorded in a proprietary format,
And what do you mean by that?
meaning that it can only be played back using specialized software from the manufacturer. It can't be played back on regular computers or DVD players.
And did you have this software in order to play it back?
Yes, I did.
Were you asked to convert it to a format that we could utilize in a courtroom utilizing a DVD?
Yes, I was.
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
How does that affect the quality?
It does not affect it if you use the proper software and processes.
All right. And did you do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
All right. And were you asked in this case to develop, for lack of a better term, develop footage from that store video dealing with the July 19th incident of last year?
Yes, I was.
All right. Did it appear to you that the machine had properly recorded that information?
Yes, it did.
All right. And did you, in fact, develop DVD formatted pictures from that?
Yes, I did.
All right. Did you also have an occasion to develop still photography from that?
Yes.
And did you, in fact, develop some still shots from that?
Yes, I did.
Tell the members of the jury what you mean when you say a still shot.
A still shot refers to the individual frames of a video file. A video file is a sequence of still images played in order that represents events that occurred in motion, moving events. So we are able, using our analysis software, to extract individual frames from that video file, which it is comprised of. And those frames can then be printed or displayed just like a photograph.
Right. And you did do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
All right. When let's talk about the video. Did you develop the video from start to finish on that day of the events that occurred within that parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3 for identification. Will you please take a look at that item? Do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
And is it the item you recreated from the machine there at the convenience store, the Circle A convenience store on July 19th?
Yes.
All right. And it's the full video, correct?
Yes, correct.
Were you asked to break that video down into 2 segments? Were you asked to break that video down into 2 segments?
Yes, I was.
Was one of the segments the outside of the store?
Yes.
Was one of the segments the inside?
Yes.
Activities inside that store?
Yes, that's correct.
And did you in fact do that?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 18 for identification, and I'd ask if you would take a look at that item and see if you recognize it.
Yes.
Did you create that from the store? What type of DVR machine was it?
It was a Samsung branded.
Okay. Did you
DVR?
recreate that from the Circle A Samsung video recorder?
This disc I did not create. I was able to review it and confirm that it does accurately represent the video views you just showed me in the previous exhibit.
Okay, and that's been formatted for DVD purposes?
For DVD playback, correct.
Thank you. Does it fairly and accurately show that the machine was working on that day?
Yes.
I want to show you now a video disc of the outside of that store. Did you create a video segment of the outside activities that occurred on those outside cameras?
Yes.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 17 and ask if you would take a look at that item. And do you recognize that item?
Yes.
Now that is another item I believe that was recreated for DVD format so that it could be shown in court.
Correct.
By, I believe, our office technicians, correct?
Yes.
But you've reviewed that.
Yes, I have.
And does it fairly and accurately show that the cameras were working on that day?
Yes, it does.
Does it fairly and accurately show the outside cameras of that store?
Yes.
And I notice on these envelopes of evidence there appears to be initials JWS.
Yes.
What are your initials?
JWS.
Did you create that?
Yes, I did.
Were you also asked to create a video, 200 sized, normal speed video of the incident that occurred at the Circle A food store?
Yes, I was.
All right, let's talk about that. The first videos are normal speed,
Yes, that's correct.
normal sized.
Yes.
Another video that I'm going to show you, it says 200 sized. Could you explain to the members of the jury what we mean when we say it's a 200 sized normal speed?
Sure. 200% is what we're referring to here. So 200% larger than the original video size. So what I did with my video processing software was effectively double the size of the video. Some people refer to this as zooming in, some people refer to it as enlarging, but the process is to make the video double the size, 200% larger, and then crop it to the area where the events occur inside that frame.
So it doesn't alter the original video except to make it more zoomed in.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 32. Mr. Satullo, I'd ask if you would take a look at that item, please. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
And is that an item that you actually created?
Yes, it is.
And did you create that item, well, first of all, did I contact you and tell you we need to format it for a DVD player?
Yes, you did.
And did you in fact format that for the playing of a DVD player in courtroom?
Yes, I did.
Does State's Exhibit number 32 show that the equipment inside the store, that Samsung machine, and the cameras, both, or the cameras outside, I believe this is all outside the store.
Yes.
The cameras outside the store were working properly on that day.
Yes.
Finally, were you asked to take a snippet, I call it a snippet, 11 seconds, I think, or something of that nature, of the video from that store and put it in a slower speed, a slow motion speed?
Yes.
I believe 25% speed.
Yes.
Tell the members of the jury how you do that.
Sure. 25% speed, means that we made it 25% of the original 100% speed. So you could refer to that as being a fourth slower or quarter speed. And the way we do that is by adjusting the frame rate. The frames I mentioned earlier, which are the individual still images played in sequence that make up a video file, are played back at a specified rate that is created when the video file is made. It's recorded at a frame rate and it plays back at that same frame rate. In order to create the view of slow motion or 25% speed, we change the frame rate but don't change the frames. In this situation, I reduced the frame rate to 25% of the original frame rate, which gives us a video file that plays back in slow motion.
Other than changing the speed, does it change or alter what took place on that video?
No, it doesn't change the underlying video content.
All right. And we're not saying anybody sees things in slow motion. All right. However, A football game. Similar kind of thing when they show something to see if an official made a mistake in slow motion?
Yes.
All right. And we see that every day. Do you watch football at all?
Yes.
All right. You see that every day on a football game, for example.
Right.
All right. And of course, the player didn't see it in slow motion, but it shows what took place on slow motion.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 20. If you would, please take a look at that item. Mr. Suluto, do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
And does it fairly and accurately show what was on that, what came from that video recording, except for the 25% speed?
Yes.
And does it show that the machines were working properly on that day and the cameras?
Yes.
Now, you indicated you were also asked to develop photography, still shots from that DVD that we're going to see, correct?
Yes.
All right. And did you do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
All right. And I think you already explained the process, so I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 22, 23, and 21. I'm showing them to defense. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? I'm now showing you State's Exhibit 23. If you would take a look at that item, please.
Okay.
Is it a fair and accurate reproduction of the still framed picture from that video recording that you had?
Yes, it is.
Does it fairly and accurately depict what was on that video recording?
Yes.
I'm now showing you State's Exhibit number 22. If you would take a look at that item, please.
Okay.
Does it fairly and accurately show you the still framed photo or still framed shot you took from that video?
Yes.
Does it fairly and accurately depict what was on that video?
Yes.
And lastly, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 21. If you would take a look at that. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Did you develop that picture?
The digital image, yes.
Right. And does that digital image fairly and accurately represent what was on the digital video that you had?
Yes, it does.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would introduce the following items. State's Exhibit number 20, State's Exhibit number 32, State's Exhibit number 18, State's Exhibit 17, 21, 22, and 23.
What it says that that's.
No objection other than those previously discussed.
Thank you. They're admitted.
All right. I still have a video recorder that my VHS machine flashes, so bear with me here. We're going to begin with what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 17. Would you tell us what part of the video recording we're going to be looking at?
It's labeled video outside.
All right. Now, this recording is normal speed
Yes.
and not 200% increased.
Yes, that's
Normal
correct.
sized. Okay.
Yes.
now going to show State's Exhibit. State's Exhibit number 18. If you would please take a look at that item, and could you tell us, is that a video of inside the activities of that store?
Yes, it's labeled video inside.
And is that showing that we're about to watch, is it in normal speed?
Yes.
And is it in normal size?
Yes.
And that was normal speed, normal size,
Yes.
inside of the store.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you also do one which was 200% sized, as opposed to normal sized, but it was also normal speed?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's already been introduced, State Exhibit number 32. I believe that video shows the outside from the time Mr. McGlockton leaves the store to the time of the shooting. Is that correct?
Yes.
one that the one we talked about where you slowed the speed down. And that is about 11 seconds, and it's right during the time of the shooting. Is that correct?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 20. That video, other than slowing the speed down, does not alter what was on that video camera.
Correct. It doesn't alter the underlying video content.
Now, we also talked about still photography, freeze frame that you. Give me 1 second. Freeze frame that you took from that recording.
Yes.
All right. This time, Your Honor, may I publish to the members of the jury 22, 23, and 21 state's exhibits. These are still shots from the outside of the store, correct?
Yes.
And then you were asked to take one just a second or two later of Mr. McGlockton walking on the outside, correct?
Yes.
And then you were also asked to take one of Mr. Drejka and Mr. McGlockton just prior to the shot being fired. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you did that?
Yes.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Okay.
I vote for the questions of this witness.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Trevino?
Good morning, Mr. Satullo.
Morning.
Are you actually a law enforcement officer or just a technician?
I'm a technician. I'm non-certified.
Okay. And do you have any special licenses or any type of expertise that's recognized by any authority for video enhancement or video work?
Yes, I do. The certification I mentioned in my direct.
Okay, very good. Now, will it be fair then to say you're an expert in video?
I've never been certified as one in a court, but I have worked with it for quite a number of years.
Let me ask you a few questions about your work in this case. You actually went to the scene, correct?
Yes.
And that was on the date of the incident?
Yes, it was.
Okay. How long after the shooting did you actually arrive at the scene?
I am not sure. I don't know when the shooting occurred, what
Okay.
the exact time of it was.
Was it still daylight when you got there?
Yes.
Okay. The system that you described that was in place at the store, you said it was a Samsung brand?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, that was not a high-definition video system, correct?
No, it was not recording in that mode at the time.
Okay. What, did it even have the ability to record in that mode?
I believe that system does have the ability to record in high definition mode, but those were not recorded in high definition.
Okay.
The
And-
videos we're referring to.
And the cameras themselves, do you know if they have the capability to receive images in high definition?
That I don't know.
Okay. So these would be standard definition type videos then, correct?
Yes.
And as such, they're not as the same quality that a high definition video would be, correct?
Yes, that'd be correct.
And with regard to the quality issue, well, let me ask you this. Do you know how old the system was? Was it an older Samsung system?
No, it's actually one that's relatively new,
Okay.
a newer model.
Okay. And what about the cameras themselves? Do you know?
That I don't know.
So they could have been much older cameras?
That's certainly possible.
All right. And you said that you put onto a flash drive or thumb drive the video feed that was stored in the DVR, the digital video recorder, correct?
Yes.
All right. Is there a way to measure the quality of that video other than saying it's standard definition? Is there any way to quantify that further?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. So being a standard definition video, it doesn't have much color to it. Is that partly because it's standard definition as opposed to high definition?
That could be part of the reason, among others.
All right. Now, in watching the video, and we've watched this video probably over 100 times, we noticed that there's certain waves above the shoulder of individuals, on the grille of certain vehicles, like a little jitteriness or waviness that you can see in the actual video. Can you explain to the jury what that is?
I'm not certain what you're specifically referring to, but generally there's a phenomenon known as compression artifacts, which are created by the process of the video being encoded into the digital form by the DVR, and it sounds like you're describing compression artifacts.
And these compression artifacts, and of course the jury will have an opportunity to review that later, but these compression artifacts, they can cause a jump or a wavy line in the video?
A wavy line, I wouldn't call it a jump, but a wavy line, stair-stepping effect that you might refer to it as.
Okay. And were you asked to render an opinion about the compression artifacts by the state in this case?
No, I was not.
I noticed on the bottom of one of the videos that the state played, it said levels adjustment. What does that refer to?
That refers to an adjustment that increases the contrast of the video.
So did you alter the video in the sense of enhancing the contrast in this case?
Yes, on those two instances, the 200% resize videos, I increased the contrast level.
And why did you do that?
Contrast is the difference between the dark areas and the light areas, dark tones and light tones, and by increasing the contrast in a video, it allows the viewer to more clearly see the edges of objects and people and persons and subjects in the video. So it makes it easier to view and easier to discern where one object ends and another begins in a video.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that by doing that, you're actually changing what the image would have been in its original form?
Well, the image has been changed by adding a levels adjustment, but it is an accepted forensic video processing technique.
I understand, but I'm saying, though, the person through the human eye might see it somewhat differently than what the video represents. Is that fair?
I wouldn't agree with that characterization.
Well, if you've altered the contrast, would the human eye be able to automatically alter contrast while viewing the incident?
No, it would not.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
The human eye might actually see things better than a video, correct?
That's certainly possible as well.
Now, I do understand one thing you talked about, all right, contrast. Okay, I'm watching a football game, and my TV has this sports mode, movie mode, all these modes. I changed the mode to it. It changes my look of the game. Might be brighter, might be darker, might be more appropriate for my room. Is that what we're talking about, changing the contrast?
Yes.
All right. But if I see a touchdown thrown, it's still a touchdown thrown.
Correct.
It doesn't
Correct.
change that.
Yes.
All right. Maybe I can see it better
True.
because I've changed the contrast to where it's brighter or something.
Yes.
in adjusting, making these adjustments, it just makes it clearer for individuals to see it with the naked eye.
Yes, that's the goal of processing.
But it doesn't change what took place.
No, it does not.
I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down. State, please call your next witness.
State, we call Detective James Upton.
Stand right here. Raise your right hand. Take your left hand, Charlotte.
Do you swear or affirm the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Thank you.
Take your breath, sweat. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Detective. Will you please state your full name?
Yes, good morning, sir. My name is James Andrew Upton.
And who do you work for?
I work for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you worked for that office?
Approximately 14 years.
All right. And what are your duties and responsibilities with that agency?
I'm currently assigned to the property crime section in burglary and pawn. However, at the time of this incident, I was assigned as a detective in the robbery homicide unit.
Has your legal career been totally spent with the Sheriff's Office at Pinellas County?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how many years is that?
14.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about, and we've heard about the responsibilities of those in the Department of Homicide. Let's talk about July 19th of last year.
Okay.
Were you working the case involving the shooting of Markeis McGlockton?
Yes, sir, I did respond to that.
And did you have numerous responsibilities and did you have numerous duties on that date?
Yes, sir, I did.
And the one responsibility and duty I want to talk with you about is a contact with the defendant. Did you have contact with a defendant by the name of Michael Drejka?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you see him in this courtroom?
Yes, sir, I do.
Will you please point him out and describe an article of clothing or color that he's wearing?
Gray suit jacket, purple tie.
Let the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case. Did you meet with him in order prior to an interview of him, a formal interview of him? Did you meet with him to advise him of his constitutional rights?
Yes, sir, I did.
I think we refer to them as Miranda rights, correct?
correct.
And these inform an individual that they have various rights that they need to be informed before law enforcement can talk to you.
That's
Is that
correct.
about right? All right. Did you advise him of those constitutional rights?
I did.
And how did you advise them? On a form, on a card? How do you do that?
Yes, sir, on a form. It's a form that I had Mr. Drejka read along with me with a verbal response, and which he agreed to and signed.
Do you have a copy of that form?
I don't have a copy of that form with me, sir.
The general crux of that form is what?
That you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford to hire one, or afford one, excuse me. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish.
And do you make sure that they acknowledge those things and they understand those things?
Yes,
Did Mr. Drejka appear to understand those things?
he did.
Did he acknowledge those things?
He did.
Did he agree after those things to speak with law enforcement?
He did.
All right. And you didn't take part in the interview itself, the formal interview, is that correct?
No, sir, I did not.
I have no further questions at this time.
Any cross-examination?
Briefly,
Good morning, Detective Upton.
Good morning, sir.
Just a couple of questions. You said the Miranda warning says that the statements that the defendant gives can and will be used against him, correct?
If I may refer to my report, sir,
Sure.
exactly what I read off to him. Thank you.
That's fine.
That is correct, sir. Can and will be used against you in a court of law.
And despite being told that everything he said would be used against him, he cooperated fully with you, correct?
He did.
All right. And he gave you a very lengthy, detailed statement, correct?
Not to me, no, sir.
All right. Let me ask you, when a police officer is involved in a fatal shooting, don't you normally wait 24 hours before you do a detailed interview to let the trauma subside of being involved in that?
Not in my experience, no, sir.
You immediately interview them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
But an interview was, I know not by you, but an interview was conducted in this case.
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State, please call your next witness.
Statement called Detective Richard Redmond.
Stand here, raise your right hand. Please swear. Take the oath. Answer out loud, please.
Do you swear or affirm the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank
Read
you.
this letter. Go ahead and have seats. You can allow for your voice witness, please.
Ready? All right. Good morning, Detective. Will you
Morning,
please
sir.
state your full name
Detective Richard Redmond.
and who do you work for?
I work for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you worked for that agency?
I've worked for this agency since November of 2013.
All right. And when you say this agency, that would lead me to believe you've worked prior law enforcement, prior to working at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
That would be correct, sir.
All right. Where did you work?
I worked for the Pasco Sheriff's Office.
All right. And then you left Pasco and came to the beautiful county of Pinellas.
I did.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your duties and responsibilities with that agency. What are those duties and responsibilities?
With the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
Currently assigned to the Robbery Homicide Unit.
All right. We heard a little bit yesterday about the robbery and homicide unit. With that agency,
Did you, last year, work in that same unit?
I did.
And did there come a time when you became involved into the shooting death of Markeis McGlockton?
I did.
Was one of your responsibilities on that date to participate and conduct an interview of the defendant in this case?
It was.
Will you look around this courtroom? Do you see the defendant in this courtroom?
I do.
And will you please point him out
He'd
and
be the
describe
gentleman.
an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Sure, he'd be the gentleman to my far left wearing a purple shirt.
let the record reflect the witness has
Identified the defendant, Michael Drejka.
Yes, sir, reflect.
Let's talk a little bit about that scenario. The sheriff's office has you have a headquarters,
Correct.
and where's that located?
The main office is located on Almerton Road in Seminole, and then we have a North District station also located in Dunedin.
All right. On this particular day in July 19th, did you travel to the, first of all, a convenience store?
Yes.
And you were briefed on responsibilities and what you needed to do and that type of thing?
Correct.
Was one of the responsibilities to participate in the interview of the defendant?
Yes.
And where did that take place?
That took place at the North District station.
And that's located where?
It's located in Dunedin, right near the intersection of Bayshore and Curlew.
All right. Now, prior to interviewing him, did you provide him constitutional rights?
Those are provided by Detective Upton.
All right. So you were aware that he had previously been advised of his rights?
Yes.
And he was willing to speak to you?
He was.
All right. And did he in fact speak with you?
He did.
All right. Now, prior to coming into court today, have I asked you to review a video, let's talk about that.
This interview was done in a room at the station?
That's correct.
Is there equipment that enables you to record the audio of an interview?
There is.
Is there equipment that enables you to record the video of an interview?
That's correct.
And did you in fact have that done in this case involving your interview with the defendant?
We did.
Prior to coming in and testifying, did I have you listen carefully to the video
Yes,
and look at the DVD?
that's correct.
Does it accurately reflect that interview that you had with him?
It does.
The things that were said with him?
That's correct.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibits number 24 for identification. Do you recognize that item?
I do.
And did you listen to it previously before coming into court?
I did.
All right. And it's a fair and accurate representation of the interview that you had with the defendant in that Dunedin substation.
It is.
This interview was on what date?
That would have been on July 19th of 2018.
Do you know the time you started the interview with him? Your interview started?
The interview started, my involvement in the interview, the main bulk of it started at approximately 8:30 in the evening.
All right. Prior to doing the interview, did you participate in interviewing witnesses?
Yes.
Did you watch the video?
Yes.
All right. And do you do those things to prepare yourself better for an interview that you're going to conduct with an individual?
Yes, that's common practice. You have to gather as much information as you can prior to going into an interview like that.
So you know what the situation is.
Correct.
So you know what a basic understanding of what might have taken place.
Right.
Did you do that in this case?
We did.
At this time, Your Honor, we'd offer in evidence State's Exhibit 24. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Submitted. Did I also have you come in, first of all, that audio recording and video, after you all receive it, do you send it out somewhere to have it professionally transcribed?
We do.
Did you do that in this case?
We did.
Right. And prior to coming in and testifying, have I asked you to listen and watch this video with a headset on as you read through that transcript?
Yes,
Did you do that?
I did.
Does that transcript of that interview, and I think it's about an hour, correct?
Correct. I think just shy of an hour.
Does that transcript of that interview accurately reflect the statements that were made?
It does.
I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 25. And I'd ask if you would take a look at that item. And have you reviewed that transcript prior to coming in and testifying?
I have.
And does it fairly and accurately show the statements that were made during that interview?
It does.
Have a moment, Your Honor? You may. At this time, Your Honor, we would like to publish State's Exhibit 24, the interview of the defendant on July 19th. By playing it, we'd like to pass out the transcripts to the members of the jury for them to follow along with that interview.
Your Honor, if I want to press for a minute. Thank you.
jury, I'm going to give you a choice at this point. This is your first major decision. We can take a break now because, as you've heard, the interview is about an hour, or else we can go forward with the interview and then we'll take a break. What do you want to do? Anybody who wants to take a break now, please raise your hand. All right. First major decision, no one wants a break now. Very good. All right, I do have a couple of instructions for you. Members of the jury, you are about to view a video recording. The court instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of the case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you view and consider this evidence. Furthermore, I will instruct you that you are about to hear recorded conversations. These recorded conversations are proper evidence, and you may consider them just as any other evidence. You are also being furnished transcripts of the recorded conversations. The recordings are the evidence, and the transcripts are provided to you only as a guide to help you follow as you listen to the recordings. The transcripts are not evidence of what was actually said or who said it. If you notice any difference between what you hear on the recordings and what you read in the transcripts, you must rely on what you hear, not on what you read. So the bottom line is that the video recording is the evidence. You'll be able to take that back with you when you deliberate. The transcript is not evidence, it's just a guide, and you will not be able to take the transcript back with you when you deliberate, because it's not evidence, it's a guide. Mr. Schaub, you may publish exhibit number 24.
I'm just going to put this on record, so I'm going to ask you to write down 100 things and stuff like that, okay? All right, we're just here at the Conroe County Sheriff's Office, North District Station. Today's date's July 19, 2018. We just want to talk to you reference today's shooting that occurred at 1201 Sunset Point Road in Clearwater, Florida. It's reference case number SO18-225724. Approximate time is about 20-30 hours. Just go through your kind of day, like right before you get to the store. Just coming back, going home, stopping at the store first, and then right around the corner home. Where do you live at, sir? 16 Charles Street, Clearwater. It's in the Edgewater neighborhood. It's right off Sunset Point. 1116 Charles Street. That's Clearwater address? Yes. What's the zip code? 33755. And what's your phone? Got a current phone number? 727. 503. 503. That's Can you spell your first name? Is it common spelling?
Common spelling.
And last name?
C-A-J-E-L.
What's your last name?
Drejka, D-R-E-J-K-A.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
8570.
Okay. You mind if I call you Michael?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and you can call me George. So just walk through, you leave your house and you drive up to the store?
No, I was coming back from the Wawa down on Missouri and Rosary to get some cash and head home. Stop by the store.
Okay. So you get to the store, tell me, kind of walk me through what happens.
I parked my car and that's my store. I'm there every day. Like it's simple. And every day there's somebody pulled in the handicap spot there. Just waiting on somebody.
Okay.
I haven't had people about it.
Sure.
I said, do you mind moving? There's a spot next door, there's spots out front. I said, do you mind moving, waiting on somebody?
So there's plenty more spots.
There's a couple more spots, yes. And she took that as a front, that I would speak to her that way. Started getting a little, yelling.
So you walk up to her car?
Actually, I was walking around.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I parked here, she was here.
Okay.
Okay, so I just checked for placards, plain and simple. And she inquired about what was going on.
Okay.
And that's when I told her, about the handicap spots.
What did you tell her?
I said, it's not very polite to park here when there's other people who need to use this. She said, is it affecting you directly? I said, if my mother-in-law rolls in, yes, it will be. So, there's nothing, there was nothing between us at all.
Okay.
No, nothing. It was just heated words, that's all.
Okay.
I was speaking to her, I guess.
Okay.
She said, what do I have to do? Get my man. I said, well, what's going to happen then? And a little more arguing back and forth, and I never saw what hit me from
She was the driver of the car?
She was in the car. She was the only person in the car
Alright.
that I know of.
You didn't see anybody else in the car?
Tinted windows, almost dark, couldn't see through them.
Alright. So you guys are talking?
Yeah, exactly. She's out of the car by this time. I was
Okay.
standing next to her, that's all.
Okay.
And I got hit from the left side and thrown straight backwards in line with her car.
Okay.
If you saw the two white ladder lines next to the thing, that's where I was standing. Okay, so I went almost straight back after I got hit.
What do you mean hit?
I was standing like this talking to her. I was hit from right here. The shoulder was pulled in front of me, and then I was.
Oh, okay.
And then I hit the ground.
Okay.
Okay, I'm pretty sure.
We'll get somebody to take pictures of the ones.
I'm not worried about that too much, but I'm pretty sure I landed my wrist under my gun, actually. That's how I landed, because that's hurt like a son of a bitch now.
So you landed on the pavement?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was on the ground. So that time I had to put hand down to get hand out from underneath. As I come out, I start drawing my weapon. As I start leveling off my weapon, he makes his next step towards me, and 21-foot rule. I'm on the ground already.
Right. Okay.
It happened so fast, and that was that.
Did he say anything to you?
Negative. Not a word.
Okay. Did you say anything to him?
No.
Like back up? Or?
No.
Okay. So you draw your weapon. Talk to me about that.
Well, the way I was able to draw it, I couldn't level it with one hand, so I had to eventually try and bring my left around for support.
Okay.
And he made his step towards me, and that was that.
How many steps did he make?
Just one step.
Okay. And then that was that. Talk to me about that. What do you do from there?
I made sure there's no other threat around him because it spun him a little bit, and he ran into the store. Immediate threat gone. I did have her as a potential.
No, I mean beforehand, before you fired the gun.
Ask me the question.
See, before you fired the gun,
Yes.
once you pull the gun out,
Yes.
okay, you said he stepped towards you?
Yeah.
Because
One more step. Right. He made one more step towards me.
And then what do you do?
I didn't say a word. The gun was already out.
Okay, what do you do?
Fire my weapon.
How many times do you fire?
One time, sir.
Okay. So you fire the weapon and then basically just scan?
I ended up standing up, made sure all of the threats were clear, reholstered my weapon.
Okay. Alright, so he didn't come back at you again or anything?
Not after he left.
Where did he go?
Into the store.
Okay. Did you strike him?
No.
No, I mean with a gun.
No. I don't know. I assume so, yes, because there was an ambulance there.
Okay. So you don't know if you hit
I
him?
know nothing, but I would assume so.
Okay. All right. So, what do you do? Talk me from there after you reholster your weapon.
After I reholster my weapon, everything's clear. Somebody's screaming about her kids. Somebody's screaming about her kids. Somebody thought they were in the car. So I said, everybody's inside, you know, see if you can get her to unlock the car. You know, and that was it. All I remember is screaming about kids.
Okay. What do you do from after you hear somebody talking about her kids? Is
Everything's up. Well, I asked one person to go, you know, see if she could unlock her car from the inside, and then I decided to extricate myself from the situation completely and just back to my vehicle and wait for you. So I took my firearm out, unloaded it, locked it, left it in the car.
what do you mean you like the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Unloaded it, unloaded back, waited for you.
Okay. Did you unload a bag or anything like that?
No, no, just the one that was in the pipe.
Okay. So where did you store the weapon at? Inside the vehicle.
Oh, it was in my holster.
Okay. Where did you put the gun at?
Right on top of the center console.
Okay, on top of the center console. What do you do from there?
Wait for you.
Okay. Do you make any statements to anybody?
Negative.
Okay, on the parking lot?
Other than telling people it's probably not a good idea to be in here right now, because
Okay.
the customers pulling in now. I spoke to no one else.
Okay. All right.
Well, I did inquire if he had his cameras on, because I know he's got 9 cameras in that place.
You inquired to who?
The clerk through the door.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was on the phone with someone.
Okay, so did you make contact with him? You walked up to the army?
I walked up just sort of through the door,
Okay.
you know, and he nodded yes. And that was the end of that, because I really want someone to look at those tapes. It should have everything.
Okay. I'm sure they do. So after all this happens, deputies show up on the scene?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Talk to me about that. What happens from there?
Procedure, deputy, you know, identified me, I identified myself.
Okay.
And from there, it was straightforward, be on the ground, handcuffs.
Okay. All right. Did you have contact with deputies here or detectives when they brought you here?
One said they came in, got some quick information, asked me if I needed any water. I haven't
Okay.
seen anybody since.
All right. Did you talk to, I think they read your rights and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been advised of your rights?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna kind of slow it down a little bit and kind of, because I'm gonna be asking specific questions about the incident. And again, just like you know, you were, just be truthful with me. And just because we got to kind of dot our I's and cross our T's, exactly what happened. I know you kind of went through it a little fast or whatever, so we're going to just go back a little bit. Is that okay? All right. Appreciate it, Michael. So you get to the store.
Yes.
Where do you park your car?
Directly next to the last parking space.
Do you know north, east, south, west?
Facing south.
Okay, so your car is facing south,
Yeah.
and the
front
last
door and the last spot.
kind of furthest to the west, right?
Furthest to the west.
Okay.
Correct.
And you're pointing to the front, you okay?
It just swings it out.
Okay. So you're pointing to the front of the store, your vehicle?
Yes.
What type of vehicle do you drive, sir?
06 Toyota 400.
Okay. What color is it?
Silver.
Okay. All right. So you park there, you exit your vehicle to, like you normally do, go inside the store. You always park up front like that?
Sometimes I'll park at the side if there's nobody.
Okay.
On
On the west side?
There's 2 parking spots down past the handicap spot right there.
Okay.
Sometimes
Like by the bathroom area?
You got it.
Okay. So you exit your vehicle, right? Like you always do, and you're getting ready to walk in the store.
Yeah.
And what do you see from there?
New placard on the front of the car. Because I have to walk by the car to.
So you approach the vehicle?
No, the front of the vehicle, yeah.
Okay. And your intentions on walking around the cars to look for placards?
Always, yeah.
Okay. Where do you
usually
normally
take pictures if there's, you know.
Okay. You take pictures if you don't see no placards, or you take, okay. Where do you normally look for placards?
License plate, windshield, and the front. See if there's a front license plate or anything.
When you approached the vehicle, did you make eye contact with the driver?
I couldn't see the driver, the windows were so dark.
Okay.
I didn't know anybody was in the car.
Right.
Truthfully.
So her window wasn't rolled down?
No,
The driver's side?
no.
Okay. So you start walking around the car?
And I walked from the front to the back and then just back up again.
Okay.
I took no pictures. I just,
Sure.
didn't want to go and keep going, but then the window came down.
Was the car running?
I couldn't No, it's so quiet,
Okay.
these damn cars, it doesn't sound anything like mine.
So then when you come back around, is the window rolled down at that point?
No, only after I get back up in front and she, on my way into the store, and she asked me, you know.
So she rolls her window down?
Yes, sir.
Did you make verbal contact with her first, or did
She made verbal contact with me first.
Well,
I
sure.
explained what I did. She asked me what I was doing, of course.
Okay, so she asked you what? What are you doing?
What do you
Walking around
know?
the car?
Yeah, I
And you
said
said-
I'm looking for handicap placards, you know.
Okay.
And then it ensued with, well, what's that matter
So-
to you?
okay. So when she rolls her window down, she says, hey, you know, what are you doing? How far are you away from the car?
To the front of the car.
Okay, so you're standing at the front?
Yeah, about the front of the car, which is
Are you on the
sidewalk, yeah.
Okay, so you're on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I'm not exactly in front of the car, I'm on the sidewalk, at the front.
Okay. So after you start talking to her, do you approach the driver's side of the car?
Yeah, just, of course, I don't want to yell back.
Right, that's understandable. So how far do you approach the vehicle, distance-wise, approximately?
God, it's gonna be, she's in the car, and it's.
Let's say I'm a driver.
She could probably smell your breath, you know,
Okay.
after a while, it's not like I was leaning in her car or anything.
Hopefully you can't smell my breath.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
So can you show me how far, let's say I'm her, how far do you come up to her?
By the window.
Okay, so a couple feet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna encroach into her car.
Alright. So you walk up to her car and you say, I was looking for handicap placards.
Correct.
And then what does she say?
What's it matter to you? I said, well, it wouldn't matter to me, unless my mother-in-law showed up right now and needed a place to park.
But it does matter to you because somebody's parked there.
At that moment, yeah.
You sure?
So, yeah.
And your mother-in-law wasn't in the car?
No.
Okay.
She asked me what was the matter, I gave her a hypothetical.
Was there anybody in the car, in your vehicle?
No,
That was,
just me.
that's disabled or anything like
No.
that? Okay. So you tell her if my mother-in-law was here?
Right.
Okay.
That's the way she was leaning. Yeah.
Right.
That's all. So
Okay.
I gave her an example.
Was she a little heated?
Very.
Okay. So you guys start having a discussion back
Yeah,
and
a little
forth?
heated discussion back and forth, definitely.
Alright. So tell me a little bit about that.
That's exactly about the same thing. We're going back about
I know, but
the same
exactly what was said.
I couldn't even. The thing I remember her saying is, do I have to get my man? And I said, well, what's that mean? Are we going to fight?
Okay.
And,
Well,
well, I guess so, was her answer.
Okay. What were you saying to her though?
It's all about the placards.
Okay.
All
She
about
died
the
like
no, all about the space, not the placards.
Okay.
Per se, but the space.
Asked her to move?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you say, hey, I want to call the police?
No, I did not say that. First time I'm gonna bring that up. I
Okay.
thought a simple courtesy would do.
So you asked her to move?
Courtesy, yes.
Okay. And what did she say?
Who are you talking to me like this? Who do you think you are?
Kind of mind your own business?
You know.
Okay. Did she say mind your own business? Because I don't know if it was or not. Okay. So basically you guys have a heated conversation, right? And you're standing that close to her car, and she mentions her man, because again,
No man in the car. I don't know of any man.
okay.
Whatever. All I hear is it mentioned.
Do you want me to get your man? That's exactly what she said?
No, she said you want me to get my man.
My man, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's
So,
exactly what she said.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, Mike. At any time and point, because we all know parking in a handicap spot without placards is illegal, correct?
Yeah, but that's not why I ask people. I can't.
Sure, right. And I get that. But at any time and point when you saw the vehicle, you checked the vehicle for handicap placards?
Of course.
Okay. You didn't see no handicap placards? At any time and point when you noticed that, why would you pick up the phone and contact law enforcement?
There it is. Here she comes. Wait a minute. I can't even remember what she said.
Okay.
Because all we were having was a verbal argument
Okay.
between two people.
Right.
I didn't know about a third person.
Okay.
I was literally blind
Sure.
shot.
Why would you?
To the ground.
Right. But wouldn't it be best, you think, to call law enforcement and say, hey, there's somebody illegally parked?
It's not going to help. She'll leave.
Okay. Well, she may
They
not know.
always do.
Well, she may not know that you called if you walked away, right?
True. Very true.
I mean,
This was an argument.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm
I'm asking you, a question. So you agree with that?
Yeah, with the woman.
Okay. So you guys are bickering back and forth. Next thing you know, you get pushed.
I'm blind, pushed nothing, tackled. I'm blindsided, dude. I'm on the ground hard.
So he shoved you pretty hard.
No, for what it felt like is he come running at me.
Okay. Like full force.
Dude, I haven't been hit like that since I was in my 20s.
Okay. All right. So he shoves you to the ground. You fall to the ground.
Correct.
Okay.
Slightly, dude. It's not very, slightly.
Okay. Do you hit your head?
Don't know. Don't feel anything.
Okay.
Don't know.
So you don't know if
I
you
sideways like this, and middle of this landed under my gun. Okay, so I landed on my wrist on my gun.
Okay.
Had to reach over to extract my hand.
To push yourself back.
To push myself up off of that. And as I'm reaching and pulling around, he's standing in front of me. As I come up, he's taking his step towards me.
Okay. Now let's discuss that. If you don't mind, could you sit on the ground real quick for me?
That's where I was.
I don't want you to hurt it.
No.
Okay. So you're on the ground, right?
I'm on the ground like this.
Okay. How far is the guy away?
Front of the car.
He's at the front of the car?
Front of the
So he's on
car.
that sidewalk, kind of curb area.
No, he's in front of the car, off the sidewalk.
Okay. Right on the edge.
Got it.
So how far do you think he's away from you?
I might have been right at the edge of the back of the front door.
Of the car?
Correct.
Okay.
Alright,
So he's up by the front
yes,
tire.
He's up by the front tires. Not further than that, man.
Further than this.
Further than that.
Okay.
The back further. He had to be further than that.
Okay. So he's about this far,
Yeah.
or maybe even further.
And as I come up this way, because I have to come up off of my hand, alright, I bring the gun out with me. And as I'm coming back this way, I can't support it. So I hit this.
Okay.
And as
What does he do?
as I come out like this, he's taking his step.
Okay. Taking a step?
Taking his steps towards me.
Okay. How close does he get to you before you fire the gun?
Maybe to the front tire.
So show me where. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he charging after you?
2 steps running.
Okay. Well, you're saying he was running?
Well, it would have been running when he got out of behind the car.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't want you to hurt yourself.
What did you think, Mike?
Say again,
What
Mike?
did you think when that happened?
I've never been in that situation yet, but I thought kicks were coming.
Okay.
So you thought he was gonna?
I thought kicks were coming, or the ACD on top.
Can you help?
I got it. Okay. Left hand's pretty far.
So you're thinking he's gonna come kick you?
I'm thinking he's coming to do the rest of it.
Did you see him with a firearm?
No, sir, I didn't see him with anything.
Okay. What do you mean the rest of it?
Whatever beating was coming after that.
So you thought he was gonna beat you and stuff?
You're not kidding.
Okay. All right. So
If he's gonna hit me that hard to begin with from blindside from the get-go, what else should I expect?
okay. All right. So you're on the ground. You said he was running at you, but he only took like a step.
He would have if he had cleared that and come around towards me again with that second foot.
Okay. So he only made one step.
He barely made the second step before I pulled the trigger.
Okay. What kind of gun do you have?
Glock 23.
Okay. All right. That's 9
count.
or 40 count. I'm not a gun guy, so I can't keep track. So you know how many rounds you had in the mag, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure do. There should be 13 left in that bag right there.
So it was fully loaded.
One in the pipe.
Okay. All right. Yeah, 13, 14 rounds. Okay.
Why did you think the guy was gonna beat you?
Because I just got blindsided out of nowhere. Why? What else would I think?
Oh, I'm just asking.
Now, I've never been in that situation before. First thing I think is I'm getting hit like that. Somebody's coming at me for more.
Okay.
What did the female do at that point?
The female just started screaming
Was she in the car or out of the
out of the car.
video would show him charging it or
It
running it?
should.
Okay,
There should be an angle right on that parking spot.
okay. What happens if I told you that I looked at the video and then no time and point does he come running up towards you? He actually takes a step back.
I would disagree.
Okay, I'm just asking. Okay,
I would disagree in a heartbeat.
okay, all right. So, you said after he runs in the store and stuff like that.
Did you see me get hit?
Oh, yeah,
Where
absolutely.
did it come from? If you don't mind me asking, where did you come from?
Yeah, we'll get into that. But she walks around the vehicle. Does she go anywhere? Do you see her go anywhere?
She went to the front of the store, she was inside for a while, then she got in and moved her car.
Okay, so she came back outside the store.
She did.
Did you guys have any discussion?
The only thing I said to her was somebody's trying to see if you've got keys for your children.
Okay, all right, okay.
That was all, but after our
She
initial
don't know
meeting-
anything else?
No,
Okay.
not to me, no.
Like, started swearing at you?
No, negative. Our argument was totally about the handicap spot.
Before she runs in the store, did she make any threats or?
Wouldn't know. I was trying to assess my own situation, sir.
Okay. Did, when the gentleman, before you fired the gun, did he make any threats towards you?
I never heard a word.
Okay. So he didn't say, I'm gonna kick your ass?
I never heard a word of anything. Once I got hit, the only thing I heard was her, and I never heard him.
What did
Until
you-
he was hit, until he was shot, and he started saying,
What did you hear her say?
screaming.
No, beforehand, before you shot. You said you heard her say something.
Oh, no.
Okay, so no, okay. But you didn't hear him say, after he shoved you, did you hear him say anything?
Just pain out of that, which is why I assumed he was hit.
Okay. What do you mean? Can you explain?
Ow, ow.
Okay,
Yeah, and then back to the store.
okay.
Because to me, it looked like when I shot, he was spun a little bit, and he just kept going with his momentum and went that way.
Okay. Let's kind of back up, because I'm just trying to understand. Excuse me, before you shoot him, okay, and he had already shoved you, right? You said you thought he was going to come kick you and basically finish the job.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear him make any statements?
Negative. He never made a word.
Okay,
Until
like
I
I'm
fired.
coming
Never
to
said
finish.
a word until I fired, but then I never said a word when he dumped me either.
Right. So you never said, what the
No,
hell,
sir.
dude? Okay. So you guys don't have any type of,
I barely even saw the man.
no, I mean, after he pushed
no.
you were on the ground,
There's
you're trying to get to your sidearm.
no talks between us
Okay.
at all.
You don't ask him, what the hell, dude? Why'd you push me?
No,
He doesn't make any statements, I'm gonna come kick your ass?
no, negative. He
Okay.
didn't say a word to me.
So he made no threats that he was gonna come finish his job?
That was an assumption, definitely.
Okay. So you just assumed he was gonna come do that?
Any smart person would.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I get it. I understand. So, and then you shoot him, just one time, correct?
One time, sir.
Okay.
Neutralized.
And then he just neutralized it?
Neutralized, and then that's it. There's no reason to
What do you mean? Can you elaborate? What do you mean neutralize?
neutralize immediate threat.
Okay.
And then that's it. I don't, no reason to go overboard anymore.
Sure. Okay. I get it. And then he runs in.
I shoot to save my own ass, and that's that.
Okay. And then he runs in the store. And then by the time fire rescue things are okay. You unload your gun. You have contact with deputies. How often do you go to that store? You said
Every day.
every day. Okay. Do you ever have any type of issues with people parking in that?
One, two. That's it.
Okay. What can you kind of talk to me about that?
Oh, yeah, that was a business, a big old septic truck.
Okay. How long ago was that?
Maybe weeks.
Okay.
Don't know.
Like a month, maybe?
Yeah, maybe weeks.
Okay. Can you kind of talk to me about that?
We had an argument.
What's that?
We had an argument.
So-
Because he didn't like me walking around the truck taking pictures too.
Where was the truck parked?
In the handicap spot.
Okay.
So it was a tank truck.
Facing the store as well? Basically the same as the
Same
young
thing,
lady's car?
Except his was easy. They're a local company.
Sure. All right. So you were walking around the vehicle doing the same thing?
Just took pictures at a time.
Okay.
Then
I'm just, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I'm just asking.
I've been carrying my whole adult life.
I mean,
I
I can,
before that.
sure, I don't blame you. You go shooting a lot?
Not anymore now.
Okay, when was the last time you went shooting?
Years.
Alright.
What kind of firearms training do you have before you got your CCW and?
Well, besides hunting, my father was a state cop for 20 years, so I've had to drill.
Oh, yeah, by you. You personally, what kind of?
Yeah, I trained with my dad a little bit, and I trained with other cops at the range, but as far as formal training, no.
Any prior military, anything like
Oh,
that?
negative.
Or law enforcement?
I wasn't allowed to be a cop. He said he'd break my arm. 20 years of shift work and bullshit.
Your dad's with it?
Yes, sir.
What kind of drills did you run through?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean?
You ever practice from your back or anything like that in the past? You ever practice shooting from your back in a position where you're on the ground or?
Oh, I've practiced sitting before. I've never practiced laying on my back.
Okay.
But I knew sitting would always be coming into play at some point in time.
All right.
Besides the fact I was a driver for Uber, so
Okay.
I've never been on my back before.
All right.
Let me ask you a question. You had mentioned that you go to the store all the time, and you had that one incident with the septic company. Any other incidents prior to that? You ever have any discussion with the owner of the store?
Yeah, he saw me that day.
No, I mean about this handicap, somebody parking in the handicap spot.
Yeah, I talked to him the day of the septic.
Okay. Was that Mustafa? Is that his name?
I don't know his name. There's another guy too.
Oh,
I can't keep him straight.
What did you tell him?
Same thing. He's parked out there. I gave him the phone number, and you can see the company logo on the side of the truck.
Okay.
There's no reason. He doesn't have any reason to come out and stop people from parking.
Did you ever have a discussion with the owner and stuff, saying, "Hey, you guys need to enforce this"?
No.
Okay.
That's his prerogative.
Well, I know, but I mean, clearly there's an issue with people parking there. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not always there.
All right.
I'm
So.
trying to get in arguments with people either, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
When they see me doing stuff like that, they automatically think, hey, what's this guy trying to do? Fuck me?
Right.
Wouldn't you think that a little bit? If somebody can take pictures around your car?
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Exactly, but if somebody can take pictures around your car, you probably think the same thing, right?
I'd ask a question first instead of going with the mouth.
Well,
I know better.
Let me ask this, that parking space, and this is just that parking lot in particular, there's actually other, like, empty parking spaces that are probably closer and have better access to the front door.
That's the only one that has access
So,
to that ramp.
in this particular situation, though, if somebody could park right next to the ramp and walk around to it, does it really matter all that much?
I'm not sure where this is at.
I'm just curious.
From
Whether or not it's worth an argument over the parking space.
Yes, I think it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you, instead of an argument,
It's not an argument if,
Right.
you know,
A
I'm
discussion.
agreeing with what he just said. That's
Okay,
all.
but don't you think, instead of putting yourself in that type of circumstance, that it may escalate, because people are crazy, I mean, right? You have road rage incidents, you got people getting shot all the time, all kinds of stuff, right? So, hear me out. Wouldn't it be best, instead of putting yourself in those circumstances, to contact law enforcement and have a deputy come out there, or Clearwater police? All right, but again, back to the question, wouldn't you think it would be better, instead of putting yourself in that type of circumstance that could escalate?
What does this have to do with?
I'm just asking,
being on my back and.
That does, you told me you were on your back and stuff, but I'm just saying, don't you think that it would be best to notify law enforcement? You said you don't like to argue, you said you don't like to have confrontations. Wouldn't it be?
Taken, but
Okay.
we're straight big off course, I think.
No, we'll get back to that, but I'm just asking you a simple question. Do you think it would be best to call law enforcement and have them address that issue?
It'll never make it.
Okay. Because the person what?
They leave.
Okay.
They'll never make it.
All right, so it's,
Unless you guys are literally parked there, you really.
Sometimes we're real close.
Right, but you're not gonna drop an important something for.
Sure.
Okay, why bother you with stupid things like that?
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
You
just
see-
a,
you see
just
cars?
commercial. I didn't want to take a picture of their car. There's no reason to. I'm not going to turn them into anybody. I just want to ask them if they think it's right to be parked where they're parked.
Okay. Do you understand that? I mean, does it ever go through your mind that when you're going up and talking to these people and informing them of them being parked in a handicapped spot, that they might not take that right? That this might go sideways a little bit?
Well, sure, but that's why I take precautions as well.
Like what kind of precautions?
I'm a very careful person and I have a permit.
Okay. Do you think you'd go knock on these people's, or I shouldn't say knock on these people's
Yeah, I
doors? Do
don't
you think you'd go confront them?
anyone.
I mean,
to their face.
it's approaching, so we use the term approach instead of confront.
Okay, but it is up to the person who's in the car to actually confront.
If you go up to somebody and approach them, they can take that as being confrontational. You
So
can't determine how
that
they're
would
going to take
make
it.
them confrontation.
But if you go up to somebody and you approach them about being parked in a handicapped spot, do you think you'd be willing to do that and take that risk if you didn't take these precautions? Because you don't know how people are going to react.
I've been carrying them most of my adult life, so I can't really answer that in a way that would satisfy you.
Okay.
You
Well,
know
I
what
mean, would you approach these people if you didn't?
Once again, I don't know. I would have to say yeah,
Okay.
but I wouldn't know because, like I said,
You always carry.
I've always carried firearm.
Okay. Since how long you carried it?
I was 22,
How old are you now?
48, 47. Sorry, I'll be 48 in August.
Me too. So, we'll go dive back into the whole him showing you and stuff like that.
I think that's what all lies.
Sure, and the video and everything like that. If, let's say on the video, I watch the video, whatever, and he doesn't approach you or make any steps towards you like you indicated.
Exactly what I saw.
Okay, so you saw him come towards you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happens if he didn't come towards you? Would you still have fire
There
around?
was no reason to. If he's retreating, then I don't need to use my firearm.
What if he's just standing still?
I still don't need to use my firearm.
Did you see, when you saw this guy, after he pushed you, did you see anything on his face? Did you see any facial expression or anything?
Negative. All I saw was a man trying to do me.
What were his hands doing? Did you see
I
that?
have no clue. Okay.
Were you able to see him? Were you able to see the guy's hands?
I didn't see his hands per se, and I didn't see his face at all. I don't know what he looks like.
Could you see his legs, his feet, anything like that?
I might have seen his legs. I know he was a black guy. That's it. Or maybe his arms. I'm not sure.
Could you see anything he was doing other than?
I was watching his feet, watching his hips.
Alright. So if he was standing still, you would have seen no reason to
No,
pull
sir.
the trigger. Okay.
If he hadn't twitched, I never would have pulled that trigger.
When that gun was out, did you make the decision to shoot when you pulled the gun out, or was that a decision made afterwards?
Negative decision I made as soon as he moved.
Okay. Did you remember having time to think and process?
No
things?
time to think.
But you
As
hadn't
soon as
made.
that gun was out, the twitch goes. That's it.
Okay. But you said you actually pulled the gun out before you made the decision to shoot, right?
There's about, well, I'm not pulling it out with the intention of pulling the trigger.
Okay.
Okay, if I come up on target and I need to shoot, I'll shoot.
If you would have pulled that gun, between the time you pulled that gun, if you would have been on your back and you pulled that gun and you had it on, if he would have been standing still, do you think that trigger would have gotten pulled?
No.
Did you have time to really look at him and tell that he was coming towards you?
The feet said he was coming towards me, and so did the hips.
What kind of twitch was it?
The hip twitch. Right foot comes around this way, like he's going to come right past that car thing, and that was that.
How much time do you think it was between when you pulled that gun out and when you
I don't
actually
know.
pulled the trigger?
I don't know.
How much time did it seem like to you?
It seemed like a split second.
Okay.
All right, Michael. We'll be right back. You gotta use the restroom or anything?
No, I'm with that.
Need more water for her? Okay. We'll be right back. All right.
We gotta look at a few things to see kind of placing together what you're telling us, all right?
Sorry, man. You good on water and stuff like that? Okay.
I've been, people were just here, so I'm in.
Alright. Rockports. You know Rockport's run out of business?
No.
Yeah. I know, man.
This is gonna be my last pass.
This is depressing, isn't it?
Like, we just want to talk to you, kind of seal up a few things and go over a few more things. Is that all right? Just go over, just kind of clarify things.
Far away. Alright. If you don't mind me asking, kind of what type of activities do you do any, like karate or anything?
I am definitely not that active, and I am not in that good health to be that active.
I'm not active either. What's your health issues? Or you got,
I've got GERD, I've got some breathing problems from my smoking over the years, and that's really not as more serious, because cholesterol was serious.
how long, okay. Let's get there. How long ago did you retire?
2007.
2007. Where from, if you don't mind me asking?
Aspen tree expert, ASPLUNDH.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
ASPLUNDH. Tree experts.
What is that?
Aspen.
No, what do you do? What did you do there?
Oh, I'm Clarence Tree Trimmer. They are the original company that started trimming trees for power companies back in 1928.
You're a brave man, you would climb trees and stuff like that? Holy crap. And that's, you retired in 2007?
2007. My mother died roughly in a little, and
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, me too. That's not the way you want to get it.
Yeah. But in regards to your medical status, stuff like that, I mean, you're in good shape for the most part?
It's just the breathing. I've been smoking for so damn long, I can't get up.
Still smoke?
Yeah. Almost 2 packs a day.
Okay. So what, I mean, do you take asthma medicine and stuff like that, or
No, negative.
you're not asthmatic?
No, I am not.
Okay. Or suffer from
Maybe a
asthma?
little pre-COPD, but not asthmatic.
Okay, all right. Do you do anything since you've been retired? I mean, do any activities?
We used to go boating, we sold the boats. We used to go motorcycling, we sold the motorcycles, and now it's basically just time for me to go back to work, and she's still working.
Okay. Well, what do you do on a daily basis?
Right now, packing.
Doing what, I'm sorry?
Packing.
What do you mean packing?
We have to move.
Okay. You mind if I ask you why you gotta move?
Yeah, these, our neighbors, our landlord, he just had our grandson,
Okay.
and he's taking our house and folding it into his business, which is big right next door at his house.
Okay.
So, yeah, we do this has been going for a couple years now.
All right.
We've been there almost 8 years.
You gonna stay in the area, or?
We can't afford to.
Okay. Yeah, Pinellas County's,
It's tough.
yeah.
Well, we got a hell of a deal, so that's everything.
We're gonna kind of bounce back to the incident, okay, a little bit.
You keep bouncing a lot.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I got a lot.
Okay.
Um,
No, it's not.
So, in regards to the incident at the store, you had mentioned early on when I was talking to you about after he shoved you, okay, and you fell to the ground.
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
A shove is somebody standing in front of somebody pushing their arms out straight. It felt like I was running and tackled.
okay, all right. So after he tackles you or whatever, in your words, you fall to the ground, correct?
Very.
Okay, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. And then, you know, you're working on getting your firearm out because of what reason?
I laid on it when I fell.
Okay, but you're working on trying to get your firearm out.
I had to drag it out from under me.
For what reason though?
If you had just been blindsided with no idea who was attacking you, would your firearm be out next move you made?
Probably so. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to make that
That's
as
exactly
an
what
opinion. Okay. So,
No, I don't think
you
so.
thought-
It's a training.
okay. When you looked up and you see him, what's going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is he coming back at me again?
Okay. To do what? What did you think he was going to do?
Thinking he's going to finish what the hell he just started.
Okay. And to you, like, what do you mean? Kind of elaborate a little bit on the finishing.
I have no clue because it didn't do anything.
Right.
I can't elaborate on something I don't know about.
What do you think he was going to do?
No clue. Come after me again. That's about it. What he would have done is just pure conjecture.
Did you think he was maybe going to get physical with you?
Sure.
Okay.
In a fair fight, you think you can take him?
Negative. I do not fight. Never have been a fighter.
Never?
Never.
Ever?
Ever. I didn't even fight in school.
go out and do activities or anything?
No, we can't.
Ride a bicycle or anything?
We can't afford it. I'm gonna have it with my dogs.
Did you, when you looked up at this gentleman, I know it was so quick, did you see his physical build, or did any of that go through your mind?
Medium height person.
Okay. So you didn't like go through your mind, holy shit, this guy's huge, he's gonna, okay. So you're,
Anybody can be anything.
sure, absolutely.
Huge has nothing to do with it.
Right, no, I agree, absolutely, without a doubt. But it goes through your mind that he's coming to finish the job.
Very correct.
Okay. I mean, what do you, finish the job, what do you mean?
Finish whatever he started. I have no clue what he started and what his end game was.
Right, okay.
I was in the dark about that, so that makes me believe to myself I need a force multiplier because I don't know what's going on.
What do you mean a force multiplier? What is that?
Exactly what you know what a force multiplier is.
No, sir, I don't. If I did, I don't, I really don't.
Well, a force multiplier is a sidearm. Anything
Okay.
other than your hand.
Okay. Alright, I got you.
A stick.
Some type of weapon.
Force multiplier.
Okay.
You know terminology that we don't.
I
learned it from
you.
I learned it from
I seriously didn't know what that meant.
Very.
Lottery?
Yes.
What kind of stuff do you read?
Everything.
No, but is it like tactical stuff? Like
Oh, no, not specifically, no. I literally mean whatever I can get my hands on, I read.
Okay.
About firearms or?
No, anything.
Okay, alright.
I know less about firearms and a whole shitload of other things in my life. But I've always been a reader.
What's your thing that you know the most about?
Outdoors. Just because I grew up outdoors coming up, you know, but I can't do it anymore.
Do you need glasses or anything? Is your
I
vision?
I just started with readers, that's it.
Okay, so you just need
One
glasses.
power.
Reader. So your vision is good for you. Okay.
Anything past here, I'm good.
Okay. Go to the store, you said basically on a daily basis.
I'm gonna go pick up a couple of drinks every day just to say hey.
Well, like water?
No, I get the monster. The white monster.
Oh, okay, the energy drinks.
Yeah, chilling.
How many of those you drink then? Okay. And you just buy
Two
two a day?
Yeah, it's like the nice thing to do during your day. It's
Two
the
for-
one constant.
Things like 2 for $4. 2 for $4.
The one constant, you know, that you do every day. It's your routine.
Sure, absolutely. Did you have a discussion with your wife about this incident?
No, I told her what happened and that was that.
And what did you tell her?
I said there's been an incident up here at the thing, up here at the corner.
Did you say incident, or did you say shot somebody, or
I'm
what?
pretty sure I told her I shot someone.
Okay.
What she said?
Oh my God, I'm on my way.
She was gonna come up to the store?
Oh, she passed around a couple of times, but she wasn't the one using the parking lot.
Yeah, just chaos.
She's outside now, I think.
And I just want to tell you this, you know, just to let you know, the gentleman you shot is deceased.
Thank you for telling me. Nobody else would give the word up.
So, okay. You got any questions for me or anything?
Stand your ground thing, and I did exactly what I thought I was supposed to be doing at that time, considering what was happening to myself. No, sir, I don't think I have anything else to say.
All right, approximate time is about 2,200 hours. Interview will be concluded with Michael, pronounce your name?
Drejka.
Drejka. I didn't want to say it wrong.
That's okay. My whole life. Doesn't matter.
All right, Mike, could you hang on real quick? I'll be right back, okay? You good? Bathroom break?
Yeah, man.
Okay, all right. Hey, Mike, sorry, man, it's been a long time. I get it.
I got no complaints, man.
Okay. We're gonna have,
Put your wall back. What is open?
yeah, that's fine. There's the lighter. Your keys, car keys. Here's what's gonna happen. And again, I apologize, it's been so long. We're conducting a thorough investigation. This investigation is gonna be ongoing, okay? We're not done with the investigation. There's a lot to this, to place all the parts together, review things, and so forth. Video collection, all that stuff takes a while, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you see on TV, okay? Okay. So, however, with that being said, as part of the investigation, we're going to keep some of the stuff, okay, as evidence and process and stuff like that, including your green shirt and your black shorts, okay? We unfortunately got to take that stuff. We'll throw this on. I can call your wife. She was here.
Yeah, she probably.
She left, and I tried to catch her before she left to let her know, sorry it's taking so long.
But
But,
she doesn't
you know.
know everything about that either. So.
Yeah, so, you can call her, or I can call her.
My phone wasn't today.
We have your phone. We're gonna keep your phone, unfortunately. Put it in. What's that, I'm sorry?
That's my only form of communication.
I get it, but it's part of evidence, okay?
How? Phones are huge now. Everything leads back to phones, everything leads back to electronics.
Technology, it's crazy.
Any investigation we work, they're huge.
You'll get your phone back. We're not keeping your phone, but as of right now, it's gonna go into evidence, okay?
How long did we think that might take?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully a day or two, hopefully a day or two, then I'll call you and let you know in regards to that.
Okay.
No problem.
We're not gonna sit on this for.
Yeah, that's all I want. Thanks, man.
You guys already got all.
All right, members of the jury, we'll go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and then we'll finish up with this witness.
Probably want to collect the,
Yes, let's collect the transcripts. All right, very good. So we'll see you in 10 minutes.